Bhushan, friend, motivator, and guide to IAS aspirant, international motivational speaker, leadership trainer, CEO, coach, political strategist, and policy advisor. Welcome to ASGIS. ASGIS believe in quality, commitment, and success. Ethics by William K. Frankena. Ethics by William K. Frankena. This fact, what I'm telling you, it has been taken from this beautiful book. We are discussing about morality and moral philosophy. Part 3rd. All this is interesting not just because it represents one of the classic discussion of the question of civil disobedience, but because it illustrates two kinds of moral problems and how one reflective and serious moral agent went about solving them. It also shows such as much of Socrates' working ethics principles. This duty was to obey state by the ways from him a derivative rule which is rest on 1, 2, 3, which are more basic. One can find one's own working ethics by seeing how one would answer these two problems oneself or others like them. This is a good exercise. Suppose that in doing this you disagree with Socrates' answer to the Crito problem. You might then challenge his principles, which Crito did not. You might ask Socrates to justify regarding 1, 2, and 3 as well. The Socrates would have to try to answer you since he believes in reason, argument, and ethics and wants knowledge, not just true opinion. At this point, Socrates might argue that 2, for example, is a valid because it follows from a still more basic principle, say 4 or 5. That is, he might maintain that we should keep promises because it is commanded by the gods or because it is necessary for the general welfare. But of course, you might question his more basic principle if you have any good reason for doing so. If you question without reason, you are not really entering into the dialogue. At some point, he will almost inevitably raise the question of how ethical judgments and principles, especially most basic ones, are to be justified anyway. And this is likely to lead the further question of what is meant by saying that something is right, good, virtuous, just, and like a question which Socrates in fact often raises in other dialogue. The nature of ethics or moral philosophy. The nature of ethics or moral philosophy. When this happens, the discussion has developed into a full-fledged philosophical one. Ethics is a branch of philosophy. Ethics is a branch of philosophy. It is a moral philosophy or philosophical thinking about morality, moral problems, moral judgments. What this involves is illustrated by the sort of thinking Socrates was doing in the Crito and Apology, supplemented as we have supposed it to be. Such philosophical thinking will now be described more fully. Moral philosophy arises when, like Socrates, we pass beyond the stage in which we are directed by traditional rules, and even beyond the stage in which these rules are so internalized that we can said to be inner, directed to the state in which we think for ourselves in critical and general terms, as the Greeks were beginning to do in the Socrates' day, and achieve a kind of autonomy as moral agents. We may, however, distinguish 3 kinds of thinking that relate to the morality in one way or another. Number 1, there is a disruptive empirical inquiry, historical or scientific, such is done by anthropologist, historian, psychologist, and sociologist. Here, the goal is to describe the explain phenomena of morality or to work out a theory of human nature which bears on ethical questions. 2, there is a normative thinking. There is a normative thinking of sort of Socrates was doing in the Crito that anyone does not ask what is right, good, or obligatory. This may take the form of asserting a normative judgment like I ought not to try to escape from the prison. Knowledge is good. Knowledge is good. Knowledge is good. Or it is always wrong to harm someone. And giving or being ready to give reason for this judgment. Or it may take the form of the debating with oneself or with someone else about what is good or right in particular case or as a general principle, and then forming some such normative judgment as a conclusion. And third is, there is also analytical, critical, or meta-ethical thinking. Meta-ethical thinking, this is sort of thinking we imagine that Socrates would have come to if he had been challenged to the limit in the justification of the normative judgment. He did, in fact, arrive at this sort of thinking in other dialogue. It does not consist of empirical or historical inquiries and theories, nor does it involve making or defending any normative or value judgment. It does not try to answer either particular or general question about what is good, right, or obligatory. It asks and tries to answer logical, epistemological, or semantical questions like the following: what is the meaning or the use of expression, morality, right, good? How can ethical and value judgment be established or justified? Can they be justified at all? What is the nature of morality? What is the distinction between moral and the non-moral? What is the meaning of free or responsible? Many recent moral philosophers limit ethics or moral philosophy to thinking of the third kind, excluding from all the questions of psychology and empirical science, and also normative questions about what is good or right. In this book, however, we shall take the moral traditions view of the subject. We shall take ethics to include metaethics as just described, but as also including normative ethics or thinking of the second kind, although only when it tries to solve particular problems as Socrates was mainly doing in the Crito. In fact, we shall take ethics to be a primarily concerned with the providing the general outlines of the normative theory to help us in the answering problems about what is right or ought to be done, and is being interested in metaphysical questions mainly because it seems necessary to answer such questions before one can entirely satisfied with one of one's normative theory, although ethics is also interested in meta-ethical questions for their own sakes. However, since certain psychological and anthropological theories are considered to have a bearing on the answers to normative and meta-ethical questions, as we shall see in discussing egoism, hedonism, and relativism. We shall also include some disruptive or empirical thinking of the first kind. Thank you so much. Do not forget to share, subscribe, and like.